Thanks so much, Al, and it's always great to be back at PAFOW Atlantic. Always a great community, a great conversation, and a great couple of days of conference. Thanks to Laura Osborne for arranging this opportunity to chat and highlight the incredible work of two amazing female entrepreneurs who I've personally had the privilege to work with as an advisor over the last year or two. So I'm really excited about this conversation. This is gonna be fun, energetic, impassioned, inspiring, and all of the above. So let's do some quick introductions. I'm Dan Riley, co-founder of Radicl, and I'm here with Shiran Yaroslavsky. She is the co-founder and CEO of Cassiopeia, and I'm here with Pris Várnagy, and she is the CEO and co-founder of Be-novative. So hello to both of you.
First of all, thank you, Dan. Thank you for having us here. It's really great to start my morning, talking with you too. And I'll say that, well, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cassiopeia, and what we do, we empower managers to lead more effective remote teams using data. Very relevant and timely. Basically, we just analyze communication patterns, data like who sent to whom and when. We gather it from Zoom, Slack, email, calendar, whatever the company is using, and we provide actionable insights for managers that help them to improve team dynamics, collaboration, work-life wellness within remote teams.
Awesome. Sounds like you've done that pitch a few times. Very, very good. It's awesome. Well, looking forward to chat. And Pris, the same question, a little bit about yourself and Be-novative and your purpose and mission.
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you so much, Dan, for the invitation. And also I'm very excited to chat with you and everyone on this very inspiring topic today. I'm the CEO and founder of Be-novative, which is a design thinking based collaboration platform. So we help large communities, mostly large enterprises and nonprofit organizations, to identify the right problem to solve and involve a large number of participants to think together with them on what is the right solution to really build and how to validate it the best way, to process multiple times feedback rounds and to get to one solution that seems to be the best according to every single participant who was invited to join this session. I would like to drive the world forward to be more creative so that everyone has the chance to transform problems into opportunities and to find new methods and skills to develop to basically achieve more.
That's pretty awesome that you have that pitch down as well. No, that's great. And look, I mean, what
Finally,
you're both doing.
I was half improvising.
What you're both doing is for me, being an entrepreneur as well as you're solving such a human problem, leveraging technology and great ideas and connection. And this is a lot of what we're going to talk about today. So as the future of work has caught up to us much faster than we could have ever imagined, how has this rapid shift to working from home, distributed workforce, how has this shift necessitated, more or different technologies designed to provide insights for remote teams and leaders and just all workers within organizations? So Shiran, I'm going to start with you.
So I would say that recently Harvard Business Review shared a study that shows that 79% of managers don't feel confident leading remote teams. And I think one of the main reason for that is that from what I see when I'm working a lot with remote managers, is that when you shift to remote work, basically there is a gap that is created because you don't have all these small data points you used to have in the office. You don't see anymore how people engage, with whom they're drinking coffee in the morning, or if they're smiling during the day. You just don't see that anymore. It's really hard to understand how your people are doing and what their challenges. So there is a gap that is created by the shift to remote work. And I think insights and data, it's a great tool to help managers to close that gap, basically.
You know, and Pris, with your take on it, I mean, really working on team collaboration around the globe and ideation. I mean, what's your perspective on this?
My angle is from the collaboration part. So we also see that companies are a little bit afraid of sudden shifts to digital transformation and everybody working from home. And I fear that what they realize that they don't have the skills and the necessary tools to have everyone collaborate working from home the same way as they were experiencing when they were sitting together. And that's how it opened their mind that, okay, in this new remote world, we need to find new ways for collaboration. And actually, I think the good part is it opened up also new possibilities. So when we are collaborating online, it's not only a group of people who were able to like gather in one room, who can share their thinking and solve problems together. We can collaborate beyond borders. And it also means that we can scale thinking together. So instead of just 10 or 20 people working on a specific project or solution, we can now easily invite maybe hundreds of people or the entire company to join one challenge and solve it together.
We have millions of people, you know, across the world who are really forced to this type of change literally overnight, in this new way of operating. So with this progress that we're making and have made, I mean, what do you think are the short-term and potentially long-term, you know, impacts that we expect to see?
So we have been working together with a client, Jivadan, for a couple of years on different projects, but aligning everyone as a team building activity to come up with new kind of fun but also impactful projects that connects them to their company purpose should have been an in-person event for a couple of weeks. But now it gives an opportunity to invite people even from different offices to take part in that event. So the event grew to a little bit more participants, I would say multiple times more participants. And finally, more than 80% of the selected solutions were actually implemented, which was not only great, but these people identified the online collaboration opportunity to be applicable in their projects. So for example, it was replicated on a global level with even more participants to join, and then taken further to Latin America for co-creation with clients.
So from a D&I perspective, you know, do you think there's things that might be bubbling up that we're not aware of or not seeing? Do you think, or what do organizations need to be paying attention to?
In my view, I think we'll see much more flexibility, and work will be much more dynamic, and people will be much more creative about the solutions, about the models we're gonna work with. I really can relate to what you just mentioned. I think we want to go totally back, 100% back to the office right after, you know, we'll have a vaccine, but we do want to meet each other more. So it will be something, you know, something in between, some dynamics that will be new as well. I think you will keep seeing it evolving. And I think in my perspective, you know me, Dan, that for a few years now, I really great advocate of diversity and inclusion. And I think, you know, if you, in the last few years, more organizations are focusing on how we foster inclusion within the company, not just diversity. And I think what also working remotely allows us, it's really to measure better the way we work and communicate, because we have this amazing data, because it's everything online now. And I think from my perspective, it also will allow us to measure inclusion better.
What changes do organizations need to make, you know, stop doing or start doing if you're having a conversation with someone right now, and what's, one thing you should stop doing, one thing you should start doing to support their people in this way, to really give them an opportunity to be their complete person, their complete self, their whole self. And with that, how do we make this sustainable over time?
It's a pretty interesting question. And actually, I thought about it a lot in the past years. And I think like one key for me is to think of leadership in a different way than many times we do today. So I think it's the responsibility of leaders to come up with programs that are more empowering for everyone, such as for talent programs to be turned into challenge-based learning programs where talents can ask even uncomfortable questions and they have the opportunity to get the right feedback. And based on the feedback, we can translate them, talents and leaders together, into insights. And these insights will lead them to making better decisions, solving problems more efficiently together. So we don't have to believe in the solo genius or the guide who will make responsibility over everyone's work and time. It's more like how we together can bring the best out of ourselves and how leaders can support us in that, and how also machines and technology can support us with the right data that we can turn into relevant insights.
I have to ask this, who is your hero? So it can be a fictional character, it can be a real character, but growing up or maybe now, who is your hero? And Shiran, I'm going to start with you. Who's your hero?
Interesting. So it's a great question. I think, to be honest, my hero is actually my mom. So when I was a kid, she was raising four daughters. I have 3 sisters. And she was learning for her PhD, and she was one of the youngest school principals in Israel back then. And she did all this at once, just juggling between everything. She was amazing, inspiration for me as a child, that women can do everything. The sky is the limit, and you can also have a great family, and you can also chase your dreams and do it all once. So I was very fortunate to have this kind of close inspiration as a child.
Well, that's
Wow.
cool. Well, she did a very good job. So your mom definitely did a great job. Pris, who's your hero?
By hero, I remember my first childhood hero, and she's not the classic type, but she's definitely Little Red Riding Hood. But in our story, I told my parents that it's not true how they know the story, so we had to transform it into Little Red Riding Hood becoming the savior of the whole family. And she was a real hero, and she found out that it's actually the wolf laying in grandma's bed, and she called for the hunter. So she was quite brave in my story.
Wow, that's I'll have a whole new perspective on the Little Red Riding Hood story now. A couple things. I mean, you both started your companies and still operate your companies in different parts of the world, and in, of course, in North America and in the U.S. And your women in leadership and technology leadership, both CEOs. So I mean, there's a lot to talk about. We could chat for an hour about that. But I guess let me just ask this question. What barriers to success have you experienced?
So I just remember basically 2 stories. One is when I came to the Bay Area first, everyone was saying that one slogan here is fail fast and fail often. And it was striking me like, why should I fail? What does failure mean? And I kind of transformed it to myself. It's more like being brave enough to ask for feedback. And it's not about if you try once and you don't succeed and it's a failure and we have to bear with it. It's more like be brave enough to ask for feedback. And even if it's a half-baked solution, just go out and learn what you have to learn. And I learned it in a way that on my very first presentation opportunity in a mega startup weekend with thousands of participants and high-class jury members, I said, I think 20 minutes before coming to stage, that please delete me from the list. I'm not gonna be able to make it. There are so many great native speakers. I can't tell my story in just 10 minutes. And the organizer told me that, look, I really advise you to just do it once, and you sure you will do fine. And guess what? On my first 50 presentations, I was so scared, just like you. But after you do your 50th, you will become much more confident. So I said, well, I can postpone this now, but it will come back next time. So let's just get over with it.
So Shiran, what about you? So kind of barriers to success that you've experienced, that you've had to work through?
Yeah, I think, for me, I can really relate to what you mentioned. I think like in many cases, you look different and sound different than other people in the room, and you need to present and do a big show and to be really good. But I'm an immigrant. I have my Israeli accent, and now I need to be very persuasive. And I remember the first time I needed to present on the main stage of Web Summit, like 15,000 people in the room, in the main stage, and it was horrifying, And I was, at the beginning when I needed to do something like that, I was memorizing everything. I was so stressed about it. And I think today what I've learned that really helps me is that every time I'm doing something that I feel not really comfortable with or stressed about, it's for me to signal that I'm in the right direction, because I'm pushing my limits as a person, as an entrepreneur, and this is a really good thing.
I will say this: I've seen you both speak in video format and some of these big events, and you're both brilliant. So if you had nerves and it didn't show, what do you think the biggest challenge and this is not so much for entrepreneurs or founders, but really just for women in the workplace right now, and and what advice would you have for them?
In women in leadership specifically, I have a personal story that came to my mind, and it was when I was about to collaborate with a coach, and I don't even know until now, she maybe didn't realize I'm the CEO of Be-novative, because she said, okay, we can collaborate, and look, I have a questionnaire which measures motivation types based on different personality traits. And I just remember one specific moment. She said, here are the 25 different characteristics. What is really interesting for me is that you are not the leader type, right? Like it seems like you are much more stressed in a leadership position than motivated. Maybe you should be a scientist, no? And it took me a couple of days to even process what she said. And thank God I'm a psychologist, so I could analyze the questionnaire itself. I had to say how much I agree or disagree with. My expectation is that people will respect me before I step into the room just because of my position. And I said, very strongly disagree, like 100% disagree with this statement. I would like people to respect me for what I can contribute with, what I can achieve together with them, because of my knowledge, because of what I do, not because of my title. I don't want them to respect me just because of my title if I cannot bring anything else, any more value to the room. And that's how I learned later on that there are more types of leaders. And especially us women, we have a capability of empowering people and to be the coach type of leader who is more like a gardener who helps the collaborators grow. And it's such a powerful pursuit and trait as well. And maybe it's not the traditional type, but I think it's still valuable. So since then, I'm pretty fine with myself in leadership roles. And I also know that my team also values me for who I am.
Powerful statement. And wow, yeah, I mean, the definition of being a leader does not give you the right to demand respect. So Shiran, how about you? I mean, what tips do you have, or what do you think is the biggest challenge, right now for women in the workplace?
I would say for women, I think I really can resonate. I think we have amazing superpowers, and that we can also use it for be better leaders, different leaders as well. And we should learn how to use it and empower it, not, just push it aside and act like every man. So I think this is something that every woman should, debate and think about and research, what kind of superpower us as women, we can use it, to just be better managers, better leaders. But also I think there is, I think as women, we should be aware of the different biases. Like in your story, there's a lot of people thinking they have a specific image of manager or leader, and we should be aware of it. And I think for my, in my experience, it's really helped is I'm getting a lot of feedback from my male colleagues. I actually, just asking them if I need to present something, I have something that, is pretty sensitive or pretty important for me. I'm just asking for the feedback, getting, different point of views, because I think for us, it's, something can look really, natural, but it will look completely different from the eye of a different person. And we should be aware of, the different perspective and the biases, and just actively try to understand it, and be aware of it and act on it. So yeah, this is my point of view as well.
So we all who work in talent, HR, people analytics, what's one thing that we can start doing right, tomorrow to ensure that everyone, regardless of who you are, has a voice and everyone has equal opportunity in front of them? What are as practitioners and people who live and breathe in this space, what can we do to start really making that change?
My tip, I would say, is to use the data that you have right now in your company, to just make sure that everyone's got a voice and feeling safe and really can have what they need to be successful.
Pris, how about you?
I would say my advice is to look for possible processes where you see improvement opportunities and translate data into insights, and insights not right into a possible idea that you already implement, but translate insights into questions, and dare to involve many people to think together with you, fall in love more with your question than with your idea, and test multiple solutions, validate, be brave enough to ask for feedback. And in these challenge-based learning programs, in multiple rounds of maybe iterations, we will just learn a lot.
And thank you for joining this conversation. And thank you for all the work you both do. And it's my privilege and honor to get a chance to work with you both and have the opportunity to speak with you both today.
Thank you for the opportunity for being here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you both of us for the great conversation. Looking forward to the next session.
All right. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.